Tonight, Donald Trump seated just 10 feet away as the woman at the center of his hush money cover-up trial, Stormy Daniels, testified in vivid detail about their alleged sexual encounter nearly 2 decades ago that prosecutors say he was desperate to hide from voters before the 2016 election. The adult film actress speaking quickly at times, looking directly at the jury, recounting how she first met Mr. Trump at a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe in 2006 and went up to a hotel suite where the pair ultimately had sex, which Mr. Trump says never happened.
Mr. Trump, how's it going in there?
Did Stormy pay you?
She told the jury she was not threatened and wasn't drugged, but her testimony about an imbalance of power and blacking out during the alleged encounter, prompting the defense team to ask the judge to declare a mistrial, arguing the lurid details were only meant to embarrass the presumptive GOP nominee, saying the testimony is impossible to come back from. The judge refusing to declare a mistrial, but agreeing some of Daniels' testimony would have been better left unsaid, all leading to a heated cross-examination. The defense zeroing in on testimony Daniels gave about an unknown man she says confronted her in a parking lot in 2011, a story she recounted to 60 Minutes.
A guy walked up on me and said to me, "Leave Trump alone." And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, "A beautiful little girl. It'd be a shame if something happened to her mom."
The defense pressing her about why she didn't call police or tell her then boyfriend at the time. The testimony stretching far afield from the criminal charges the former president faces for allegedly disguising how he reimbursed Michael Cohen, his former fixer and attorney, who paid Daniels the $130,000 to stay quiet just before the 2016 election. The judge chiding Daniels to move it along at times.
Their case is totally falling apart. They have nothing on books and records.
Daniels telling the jury today she was focused on selling her story, but my motivation wasn't money. It was to get the story out, adding she didn't feel safe after the parking lot threat. Mr. Trump's defense attorney taking direct aim at her credibility and past denials of their alleged encounter, grilling her. "You are looking to extort money from President Trump, right?" Daniels responding, "False."
And Laura, at the top of the newscast, I mentioned a big development in another Trump case, the classified documents case in Florida. What happened?
Yes, Lester, the judge tonight making official what was already widely expected, putting that trial date officially on hold, wiping it away, saying essentially there are too many unresolved issues and complex motions left to resolve here, Lester.
And one more federal case, the one focusing on election interference. Where does that stand?
Lester, that one, too, also in limbo with no trial date as we await a ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court about whether the former president is, in fact, immune from prosecution at all, making this case in New York, Lester, perhaps the only case that will be complete before the November election.
All right.
Lester?
Laura Jarrett, thanks tonight. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.